Before we come together and unify as a nation to fight what is happening with Donald Trump and his new style of authoritarian government, is to learn to inform one another, educate one another, to not hold your political ideals so closely to your situation that you have to tell your children how to think. That's important, you see. We have a educational system that does not teach us how to think, not critically or otherwise. It teaches us to think systematically because we belong in a system. Whether we like it or not, we are a slave to a system that you can beat if you have your cards in order. But if you are on the lower end of opportunities, as I spoke of in my last video, you are a slave to it. And a lot of people seem to have it in their mind that just because they vote Republican, that they're supposed to be in the soon to be in the path of riches and prosperity, and that the Republican Party is going to be the ones to pull you out of your poverty situation or whatever situation that you might be in that has you hating the black person, the brown person, the Asian, or the other. Now, need I remind everyone that education in other countries is very important. They teach children in China, in Japan, in Germany. You know, they do school very differently. They make it a culture for the children. They teach them about math. They teach them about the sciences. They teach them about certain things. They do it well. These places are not the United States, but they're not by no means necessarily second or third world countries. Education is very important to these places because that's their way out of and upward in their situations. They prize all their children's effort into their education. Whether this is healthy for the child or not, it does create a person. Who, I don't know. I don't know if it's about critical thinking. Don't know if China's too good on the critical thinking. But in this country, we have let the Republican Party initiate measures to cut the budget of education on, I don't know if it's state or federal, both levels, but I'm from a little place called California, you know, where they started to cut the budget there, and Arnold Schwarzenegger was the governor, you know, and George Bush was the president, and they were cutting the budget for all of our schools, making it harder for teachers to get resources, pay, benefits, for schools to get, you know, after school programs, and doing things to really make our educational system harder to educate us. And we let this happen as a nation. We did this. I remember a faint outcry about it happening, it being terrible and all. But strangely, all the fervor on that died out by the time the next Democratic administration came around. You know, there were some things done with education, some reforms, but we've still been cutting education. Why is it important? Why is it everything else in this country and all these other industries so much more important than education, if the education system that we have is designed to have people in these industries? Well, that's design. They don't want us thinking critically. They don't want us thinking critically. That's why you have to get to college to be able to get a critical thinking class. They say the dumbing down of America is complete. So they started saying that in like late 90s, as far as I'm concerned, as far as I learned about it. And I always wondered what that meant. I always was like, I wonder who are the dumb ones in society? Who's playing the losing hand, but thinking that they're winning, you know? Or who's on the lower end of the intellectual totem pole, so to speak? I always wondered who. And for the longest time, since I was poor, most of my life, you know, still am. You know, I'm not rich. I am not rich at all. But I was pretty sure that I forgot where I was. This is so messed up. Anyways, the Republican Party has been cutting education in California, red states. And we've been letting them do it for about 25 years now, or more. And now we have a whole swath of the population that intellectually cannot arm themselves against what has happened. We have had the government taken over by people who do not care about us. They care more about the cries and woes of Vladimir Putin than they do about this person who's trying to move into this next home that they're trying to go to. He cares more than this person who's driving to work, driving that company van. He cares more about this person who literally wears the flag on his chest. It's in his blood. It's in my bank account. You know, I'm a disabled veteran. My sacrifice means something to the country, to the federal government at least. I mean, for now. But I digress. We have to learn to educate one another, because the system isn't going to do it for us. You know, we have to learn to police one another and educate one another and to challenge one another and teach each person within our circle that the need to be right about something that's baseless, that's, you know, it's got confounding factors that don't really lead to any real conclusion, but you believe it because your uncle said it, because your mom said it, because all your friends and everybody that lives in your block thinks this. You have to think that. Well, now America has a Dunning-Kruger moment, you know, where it starts to begin to feel how dumb it is, you know. America doesn't understand how stupid it is. It's so high on privilege and thinking that it's so high above the clouds, that we're immune from authoritarian influence. I thought that everything that was happening in 2016, in the lead up to the election, was enough to show people that, hey, this is not conservative values. This is not what we have as far as a division of understanding of the consciousness of politics here. This is not what is supposed to be represented as conservative values. This is extremism. This is damaging. But people thought that this fits so well with their beliefs and their values that they signed on to it, tried it out. It's a great way to, it's a great way to hide a certain belief system. And in like a good 60-something% of the country has consistently rallied behind Donald Trump until recently, where it's just divided down the middle. Now, Donald Trump he hasn't lowered the price of eggs. He hasn't made the in vitro fertilization free. There's no tax on tips thing happening. It's just Project 2025, and if we had a little bit more care towards the real education of our children and our youngers and our peers, we wouldn't be in this position. But everybody wanted to make sure that they won so bad. You wanted to win. You wanted to win at all costs. Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump. New information enters your mind through someone else with facts that, that basically debunk and just debase any claim or argument that you make. But it's all well and good. This is America. You don't have to listen. This is a free country. You can think and believe whatever you want. That's all well and good. That's nothing but true. However, on the other side of that decision lies consequences. And an elections have consequences. Now, being so riled up with all this religious and political fervor, like that makes you forget about the realities of life. You thought all this bad stuff was going to happen to everyone. People who look like me, people, who look like your wife and your daughter and your grandma, but it didn't matter enough to you that this could affect you personally. And I don't want to hear that, oh, yeah, I lost my job. Donald Trump is going to allow me to get another opportunity. You wait and see. I was fired for a reason. You can go ahead and think that. But remember, you were fired, so someone better could take your place. That's not how authoritarianism works. How this works is a new level of the richer getting richer and the poor getting poorer starts to take place. You have massive wealth transfers. You have stripping of rights. You have people like me who have served the country watch as the real definition of patriotism gets shit smeared all over it by idiots who have never put the uniform on. Yeah, All that's happening. That's what this is. You know? I hope it's been really worth it. I hope that your grandma gets all of her health things taken care of. That's going to be really, really, really good once it happens. But this video was about education. And what America is about to get is an education in getting exactly what you want. And why exactly what you want may not be that. It may be the inverse. It may be something that hurts. It may be a lesson that you have to live with for the next 4 years. As you watch your stock portfolio stay in the mud, poke its head out every now and then, and show a little green. You know, for all of you who have invested in cryptocurrencies, I feel you. I really do. Trust me. You know, this is an education for everyone on why this country was made. You know, I thought that for all the poor education that this country gives us growing up, at least they taught us that authoritarianism is bad. That Hitler was bad. But I guess no. It's another great white lie. That they may teach this stuff in schools, but at home, they're up there giving their kids the Jim Crow special. The late night, you know, get your hate right tutorial. And knowing that that's the education these people are providing their youngers, we have to work harder in finding ways to get out the right bits of education. And this is done by challenging people with logical, sound arguments founded in reason. And you know, and to not ever give up. We have to learn. We have to organize. I need to organize. I need to be out there. I need to be out there with you. I need to be out there with a sign, putting myself on the line and representing the country that I was born in. I've represented this country more than just putting a stupid little flag on my car and driving up and down the street. You know, I'm not a patriot just because of the color of my skin and my beliefs. I'm a patriot because of my actions. I'm a patriot because of my concerns. I'm a patriot because of what I stand for. And what I won't stand for is people getting on here and talking so badly about Joe Biden, who obviously is a person who is a real patriot, who has been doing politics all of his life. Has it made him rich? Yeah, no. Of course. When you're successful in politics, you get a bit of success. Like, you can't hold that against somebody. You know, you guys are so smart. You let them tell you that George Soros is controlling everything, that he's making everything bad. Okay, well, you don't know how good you had it. You didn't educate yourself. All these blacks for Trump, all these Muslims for Trump, all these Latinos for Trump. What now? What now? Like, I'm not gonna argue with you. There's no point. I'm not gonna argue with the person. I'm not gonna try to tell a blind man that he's blind. I'm not gonna try to tell an idiot that he's stupid, because he's not gonna be able to understand what I'm saying. Education. We need it more than ever. We need to talk to one another. before we come together. Because until we're actually ready, to actually come together and unite and do a lot of work against this stuff, look, we have to get our thoughts right. We have to get our beliefs and our spirits right when it comes to other people who don't look necessarily like us, who don't believe as we do, who don't live our lives the way we do. But here's the thing: even though we may be different, like invariably different from one person to the next, at the end of the day, we all want the same things: food, shelter, family, friends, livelihood, and quality time spent with people we love, and great ways for us to enjoy our time while we have the time left. But if you're living a life to where you're not necessarily schooled on how all of us being different makes us great, this is what happens. You get a whole political movement that thinks that saying that the country is not great is going to somehow make it great, when in fact you're just giving rich people the influence over everyone by letting them tell you that other poor people, black people, gay people, the Muslims, and the border remains safe. People stay on the border and they do things. But if you really want to know why the people get across the border, it's because you're not there applying for the job. Mr. Border State, Mr. Border State protester, Mr. Southern Baptist Church protester, whatever the hell. It's why you're complaining about the border not being secure, but I don't see you working in the border patrol. I don't see you trying to make sure that the border's secure. That's what a patriot would do. That's what a patriot stands up for the country, and they stand in the positions in the country that would allow them to protect the country in the ways that they feel need protecting. But no, we have this utterly, retarded view of patriotism, and it comes from willful ignorance. It's time to quit. It's time to quit the word games. No one's falling for it anymore. Because look, you guys won the election. Congratulations, nice, good job. It's not every day that a piece of shit beats a qualified candidate. That's some special work. But you guys won the election. And now nothing that Trump said was going to happen is happening. Had you have done some research, just like 90 minutes of reading Project 2025, or listening to a podcaster other than like Tim Pool or Joe Rogan or Charlie Kirk, or these other people these guys are just cashing in on your beliefs. They're grifting you.